We already learned some concept of data handling in previous time. Okay, so we learned about the pictograph, bar graph, double bar graph. Okay, so today we will revise all the concepts that we already learned in our previous classes. So what is data handling? Data means the information. So whatever information we collect, it forms the data. Okay, but every time data is not in a useful form. Okay, for example, I collect the information of student marks in maths and also in a science. But you need to arrange the data. Likewise, it can be in a form of tabular form. So you need to write the name of the student, then subject, that is maths, and then science. So after that you need to arrange the marks of student in a maths column and marks of student in a science column. So that way you need to arrange the data. So data handling means we need to handle the data, organize the data that gives the meaningful information to us. Okay, so today we will learn about the data handling. So if we take some kind of example, that runs made by batsmen, so that is what data. If we collect the information of the different batsmen runs in a different matches, then that forms the collection of data. Then students marks in maths test. This is again the example of collection of data. So if we collect the information about the marks of student in maths test, so we need to arrange it in a tabular form. Then number of story book read by the friend. So this is also the example of information collection. For example, we take the information about the patient ID, patient disease of hospital. If we gather the information from the hospital, then there might be this kind of example, that the name of the patient, his disease, its medicines. Okay, so this kind of information we gather from hospital. Also there is the information data we can obtain from the bank. So in a bank, what kind of information stored? In bank, customer name, customer ID, its bank account name, phone number, address. This kind of information we gather from the bank. So in every field there is a data, and we need to handle the data in a different way. So the information collected in all such cases called the data. Okay, this is the 3 example, but we can also gather the information in different area. So that's why whatever information we collect, it forms the data. So here what we learn about the handling of data, here pictograph, bar graph, double bar graph, histogram and pie chart. So this thing you already learned about the pictograph, means picture representation of information. Like bar graph, it is like a square rectangular boxes with a different heights, that is proportional to the given data. Then double bar graph, we already learned that the double bar graph is used to compare the different information. And histogram, it is also used for grouped information, that we will learn in this lecture. And today we will learn one new topic in this chapter, that is pie chart. So let's start with the pictograph. Now what is pictograph? Pictograph means we represent the given information in different picture representation. So let's take some example. Number of students absent for a week. Okay, here I gather the information about the number of students absent in particular class for a week. So here on Monday 5 students were absent, on Tuesday 2 students were absent, Wednesday 4 students were absent, Thursday 6 were absent, and Friday 1 were absent. So if we want to represent this in a form of pictograph, then we need to take some picture representation. So let's take one, that this represents one student. One smiley represents one student absent. So for 5 students absent, how many smiley we need to draw? We need to draw 5 smileys. So we will draw 5 smileys. So this is called the pictorial representation of information. Now on Tuesday 2 students were absent, so we will draw 2 smileys. Now for 4 students For 6 students, we need to draw 6 smileys. For 1 student, we need to draw 1 smiley. It means each picture in a graph represents 1 student. Now, every time it is not necessary, it is not possible to take 1 smiley is equal to 1 student. If we have a large information, okay, for example, marks of student, and in maths there are 50 marks. If we have this kind of example, and in maths, one student gets 50 marks. So it is not represent 50 smiley for the each student. So it will be possible that we can take any symbol is equal to 10 marks. So for that we need to represent 5 smileys to represent 50 marks. Okay. So that why this thing is very important. So whatever information we write here, we need to draw a pictograph proportional to this one. Okay, if it is a 50 marks and we represent one circle is equal to 10 marks. Then for 50 marks we need to represent 5 circles. Clear? Now we also write answer for the question by observing the pictogram. So this kind of question can be asked, on which day maximum students were absent. So for that you need to check this one. So number of smileys here on Thursday is maximum. So we can write on Thursday maximum students were absent. So we can write on Thursday maximum students were absent. Now next, how many students absent on Tuesday? So how many students absent on Tuesday? You can say 2 students were absent. So we can write 2 students were absent on Tuesday. Clear? So if we have this kind of information, now name of the day and number of the student represented in a tabular form, then we can represent the pictograph by this one. Also we can give the answer of question by observing the pictograph. Now we will learn the next representation of information, that is a bar graph. So display of information using bars of uniform width with their height being proportional to the respective value. So here we already learned how to draw a bar graph in a graph paper. Okay. So if we consider this is our graph paper. So first what we need to do? We need to draw a vertical line that represents y-axis and horizontal line that represents x-axis. So let's consider this is y, this is x. Intersection point of x-axis and y-axis is called the origin. So it is 0. Now for here in a bar graph we need to represent bars in a proportional to the values given in a table. So here subject, let's take example, subject English, Maths, SS and Science, and marks of students for English, let's consider it is 40, for Maths it is 50, 35 and Science is 55. Okay, so marks of students out of 60 is given that in English he collects 40 marks, for Maths he collects 50, for SS he collects 35 and Science he collects 55. So if we want to represent this information in a graphical representation using a bar graph, then we can give it here that 1 unit is equal to 10 marks, then this is 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. It means here we can write on y-axis 1 unit is equal to 10 marks. If you take 1 unit is equal to 5 marks and you need to write 1 unit is equal to 5 marks. Okay. Now you here you need to represent the subject. So here this kind of boxes will be there. Now this box represents English, this will be Maths, SS and Science. Clear? Now in English 40 marks, we can represent for English it is 40 marks, so bar like this. Here the width of this bar for every subject will be same. So here we represent one box width, then for every subject it remain one box width. Now 50, so we can represent for 50 like this. 35, so it is between 40 and 30, so it will be like this. And for science it will be 55, that is between 50 and 60, so we can draw. Now, if we have this kind of information, then we can observe that in a science he collect maximum marks, and in which subject his performance is poor. Whatever bar is lower, with lower height will represent the lower marks. So you can see in SS, the height of bar is lower than remaining subject. So we can say that in SS his performance is poor. So by observing this information, we can also give the answer of the question, that in which subject his performance is good, in which subject he needs to do more practice, what is the marks for particular subject. So this kind of information we can also represent in a bar. Now double bar graph. We already learned that double bar graph is a comparison of two information. So the bar graph showing two sets of data simultaneously, it is useful for comparison of the data. If two information is collected together and we need to compare the information, then we will use the bar. So here we will take the example here, marks in the first term and second term for 3 subjects are given. So if this information is given and if we draw a double bar graph, then we get the information that in which subject his performance is improving or his performance is decreasing. So here in a maths, first term marks is 60 and second term marks is 55. In science, first term 40, second term 50. In English, first term 30 and second term is 45. So here again bar graph is used for comparison and we will draw it in a graph paper. So in graph paper, what we need to do first? We need to draw x-axis and y-axis. Again vertical line represent y-axis and horizontal represent x-axis. 0, that is origin. Now again we need to give the information of the scale. So scale you can take 1 unit is equal to 10 units. So here we can start with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. On horizontal line we can represent the marks. So let's represent this is the marks of maths. Science and English. Okay, so for a maths in first term it is 60 marks, so we can represent bar for 60 marks like this. So this is the marks of first term. Then in the science it is 40, so we can represent for science it is 40 marks. So this is bar for first term marks in science, and English that is 30 marks. So we can represent bar for. Now we need to differentiate these two bars of first term and second term. So let's consider this simple graph. Bar represent first term marks and bar with the dash line is represent second term. Okay. So here for second term we need to represent 55. So it will be between 60 and 50. So we can represent marks for the marks in the second term by the shaded bar. So this is marks of the second term. Now for 50 in science, so 50. Now in English it is 45, so it is between 50 and 40, so we can represent like this. Now if I ask you that in which subject his performance is decreasing. So you can say in maths, first term marks is 60 and second term marks is 55. So it is decreasing. In which subject marks is increasing? So you can say in science and English, his marks is increasing. Okay. So this kind of information we gather if double bar graph of the two terms marks is given. You can also compare the another information also using double bar graph. So I hope you clear with the bar graph and double bar graph. Now organizing data. Usually data is available to us in an unorganized form called raw data. Okay, every time if we collect the data, then every time it may be not be in a useful form. But if I give the number like 5, 10, 15, 16, 18, 19, then you did not collect any information from this data. But if I say that this is the marks of student in a maths, then you gather the information and you can arrange it in a table form. So we need to arrange the data in a tabular form or on a different way. So to draw a meaningful inference, we need to organize the data systematically. Okay, to gather the information from the given data, we need to collect the information and organize it in a systematically. We can arrange it in a graphical representation or we can arrange it in a tabular form. So there are different ways to organize the data. But first of all, we need to gather the information and organize so we can get the meaningful information from the data. If simply numbers are given, then it gives nothing. It not give any information to us. That's why we need to arrange the data systematically. So whenever we collect the information, we need to organize it in a systematic way. So let's take some example. Here this group of students ask for their favorite subject. Now if I give you this information, then you did not collect any information that which student like which subject, how many students like maths, how many students like SS. So for that we need to arrange it in a tabular form or we need to arrange it in another form. So let's arrange this in a tabular form. So here if I give you that some student like maths, science, social science, science, English, SS, then we did not get any information. So let's collect this information in a tabular form. So how many subjects are here? You can see maths, social science, science and English. So here the information about the 4 subject is given. So we can write here subject maths, social science, science and English. Now we can represent daily marks. So here, how many students like maths? So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 students like maths. So in tally bar graph you need to draw 5 lines. Now after 4 lines you need to make a group of 5. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this represents 5 students like maths. Again check 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 5 students like maths. Now how many students like social science? So here 1, 2, 3 students like social science. So we can represent 3 lines for social science. Science, so here 1, 2, 3. Again 3 students like science. And English, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 students like English. So this way we can represent given information in tabular form using tabular graph. This represents 5 students like maths, 3 students like SS, 3 students like science and 4 students like English. Total 50 students are observed. Total 50 students are asked for their favorite subject. So now you can see that instead of this information is very meaningful. It gives the proper information to us. So we need to Now, grouping of the data. Sometimes it may be possible that we have a large amount of information. For example, if we gather the information of the 100 students in a maths, so if at that time we have large amount of data. So if we consider this kind of data, now you can see that here smallest value is 5 and largest value is 49. So if we use a previous example, then we need to write the numbers from 1 to 0 to 50. Okay, if we want to represent this data in a tally bar graph in a previous way, then we need to write the 1 to 50 marks. It is also very difficult to get the information, and it is very difficult to gather the information is that. So we need to arrange this information in a grouped form. Why we are making the grouping? Because if the information is very large. So in a group we need to make a group of different numbers. Now we already know what is a group. Group means it may be a group of people, bunch of sticks. So that is what the grouping. So here we will make a group of numbers. So let's start. Here we can write 0 to 10. So that is a one group. Then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. Now, this 0 and 10 represent 0 is upper and lower class limit and 10 is the upper class limit. Okay. Now, 21. So, the first number is 21. So, we will represent it between 20 to 30. So, one line 10. So, here you need to consider the lower class limit. 10 will be here. Now 30, so it will be here. 22, so that will be between 20 to 30. 33, so it is between 30 to 40. 5 here. Now 37, so it is here. Now 12, so that is between 10 and 20. 19, so it will be here. 25, so here 42, then 15, 39, 15 and 39, so here it is 15 and here 39. Then 26, 32, so 26 and 32. So here we need to make a group of 5. 18, 27, 28, so 18, 27 and 28. 29, 35, 31. So 29 will be here. 35 will be here. 31 will be here. Now next one. 34, 36 and 18. So 34, 36 and 18. 20, 30. So 20 and 30. 22, 44. 22, 44. 16, 24. So 16 is here and 24 that will be here. 10, 27. So 10 is here. 27. 39, 28. 39 and 28. 49, 29. So 49 will be here and 29 will be here. Now 32, 23. 32, 23. 31 and 21. So it will be here 31 and 7. Now, how many students get lower than 10 marks? So here one student. Now, between 10 to 20, there are 5 plus 3, 8 students. Between 20 to 30, there are 15 students. 30 to 40, 13 students, and 40 to 50, there are 3 students. Okay, so now you can see this information is more meaningful than previous one. So if large amount of data is given, then you can arrange the data in a grouped frequency distribution. This is called grouped frequency distribution. 0 is lower class limit and 10 is called upper class limit. So this way we can arrange the if large amount of data is given.